Hi, I'm Paul. So for this video I'm going to talk about a question what I keep on getting asked about: do we live in a simulation? I'm not going to say yes to that or no, because we can call this simulation, matrix, illusion, consciousness seeing itself, the contents of consciousness, whatever. So I'm not really going to specify what I would actually call it. I don't think it's that relevant. I mean, also the way that I'm about to describe it could be described in so many different ways. The universe just doing what it does, energy flowing. But the way that I see it is in perhaps the idea of do we live in a simulation, is that, you see, everything is mind. And in a way you could say, well, I'll start off with it this way. Everything is mind, so let's just say everything is your mind. Now, it's not your mind, it's mind itself, but let's just say everything is your mind. And everything that you see and hear and smell and think about, and any movement, is kind of the contents of your mind. So we could say the contents of consciousness. So in a way it's like your mind, which is universal mind, is kind of creating an image of the world on a projection screen. So everything that's in this mind of yours, let's say, the contents of consciousness, is you, not separate from you. So what I mean by this is, let's just say, for instance, you're asleep and you're having a dream. And in that dream, you're perhaps dreaming that you're, say, on a plane, flying to Spain or wherever. And on this plane, in your dream, there's me who's sat next to you. And you're recognizing that you don't know what I'm thinking. There's perhaps somebody else sat next to you. Someone walks down the aisle. In the dream, you can see out the window. And then you wake up in the morning. And then you realize that everything in that dream, me, the plane, Spain, the window, was all you. It was not separate to you. It was all your mind. In the same way that when you're awake now, all that you see is your mind. In other words, nothing separate. You just create the illusion of separation. So let's just go back into the dream. So we're back asleep. We're having a dream. And in that dream, you're dreaming that you have an apple in the palm of your hand. And then you wake up in the morning and you realize that the apple was you. It wasn't separate. So now you're awake, and perhaps we can see that maybe this world, in our awake world, is very similar to our dream, and all its contents are just our mind and not separate. So let's just imagine in this awakened state, we also have the apple in our hand. So then in this awakened state, we kind of believe that everything's real, so this apple must be separate to me. And there's a division. But then if we said, what is the apple? If we really tried to question this apple in our hand, what is the apple? What's its consciousness, its living state? What is the actual thing itself without any labels? So first off, we could say that the apple isn't the word apple, because that's only the word or even the description. Apple is not the thing in itself. So we can say that we perhaps can touch the apple. But that touch of the apple isn't the apple. It's just our recognized touch, the senses that we create in our head of what it feels like to touch the thing itself. And the smell. See, the smell isn't the apple, even the taste. So when you really dig down to what is the apple itself, you can't really find anything else other than it's you. There is no separation between you and the apple. The apple is the contents of your consciousness, your mind, universal mind, universal consciousness, or whatever you want to say. It's the contents of consciousness. So this mind that I keep on calling your mind is not your mind, it's consciousness itself. It is the universe. It is everything. And this apple that I just said is the contents of your consciousness, which is to say the contents of your mind being everything. The apple is just the contents of everything, or a part of the contents of everything, which is consciousness. So one of the confusing parts here of what everybody says when I talk about this is, well, how is it that I have the mind of consciousness? My mind is consciousness itself, and where's your mind? You see, you're kind of saying that, okay, you've got this world, this inner world, then where's my inner world? But you see, I am your inner world. I'm not separate to you. I'm the contents of this in the same way the apple is the contents of this. So the idea of this separation really is to understand that the apple in the palm of your hand is the contents of your mind, which is the contents of consciousness itself, and yet your physical body, the body that you look at, the mind that you imagine is yours, is also the same as the apple, just the contents of consciousness itself. But with this illusion of my mind is separate to it, and the apple is separate to my mind, and I am separate to you, and so on. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to say. So, thank you very much for listening.